Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Optus and NEC Anytime Portal webinar. My name is Erica Sluter, and I'm the marketing strategist here at Optus. Many of you were probably on our last month's webinar for the quote tool with Erin, so we're lucky to have her again this month. Her name is Erin Komar. She is from NEC, the Senior Inside Sales Account Manager there, and she is the guru on all things Anytime Portal. And so she's going to take us through that today, a real live demonstration where you can ask questions via the questions or the chat feature. I will be monitoring those throughout the webinar, so please feel free. If you have any questions, we will most certainly get to those. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that you're in attendee mode. That means your mics are muted to reduce line feedback. But like I said, please ask questions utilizing the chat or questions feature. And without further ado, I will hand it off to Erin.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hope everyone's morning is going well. What I'm going to do today is just walk you through some basics on the Anytime portal. The first thing we want to talk about, obviously, is how to log in. So you're going to go to www.necanytime.com. You're going to click here where it says Partner Login, and when you do that, it is going to ask you for your username and password, and then you're going to enter that in and click Sign On. And when we do that, it is going to bring you into, hold on. It is going to bring you into my dashboard. I'm actually signed in as a reseller's main contact person. So I am logged into the portal. It's the first thing you're going to see is my dashboard. There's a couple things. If you are an admin for your company, you will have access. You'll have this little, looks like a guy in a suit. If you click the little arrow, it shows you control panel. If you go to the control panel and click on users, and then just click on where it has your company underlined, it actually gives you access to be able to change access for people. You can edit your own access. You can actually go in and edit or deactivate a user that's within the portal. So if you have someone who leaves your company and you want to come in and deactivate them, if you do that, I would also suggest if you need to do that, or if you're changing any of the roles. So if I click on edit on this person for this company, you can change the different roles that they have available by just clicking on roles here. You can also change the password for that person if you want to, if they forget their password, you can click on password. You can set up a new password for them. Just make sure to check the box that says password reset required, and then just click save, and then they would use the password that you set up, and that'll prompt them to set up their own password as well. If you wanted to change their roles, you can just go to roles. If you click select, it opens up the box that has the roles, the different available roles for the companies. You could choose them, you could have them be a software administrator, you could have them be a field technician, whatever roles you want to change for them. I'm actually just going to go back to the Anytime portal. So to get back to the original page that I was just in, you just click to the left up at the top where it says NEC Anytime, and it brings you back to the main page. So when you first log in, you'll see something called My Dashboard. You can actually come to where it says My Promotions, for example. You could search for the different promos that we have going right now. So you'll see it has, a bunch of different things. It has a couple pages. So if you just click search, I'm just going to enter SMART. So if you enter a word or a 9100 or 9300, it'll bring up the different, anything that has that word in it. So we have Smart Incentives promotion going now for the SMB and Enterprise. So you'd be able to just click there. It brings you into the next page. And when you do that, it has an attachment so you could open it up and see the different promos that we have going now. So for now, for the 9100, we have the Smart Incentives. It takes a minute to load. There we go. So now you have access to that, and you could save it or print it or whatever you want to do with that. I'm just actually going to X out of the knowledge base. So then if you scroll down again, Quote Studio, this would be where you could create a quote, or if you click on My Studio Quotes, it'll bring you into the quote list. We went over that last month. We have some different customer lookups, so you could have whatever you have active for your customers. Under My Resources, this gives you access to different programming manuals, and if we have product manuals, guides, and references, you can again search by the document, the type of document, the publish date. You could change the publish date and search for that. And then there's a couple other things, my favorites. I don't have anything listed for that, and announcements are also at the bottom here. So I'm just going to go back up to the top. The next available is resources. So if I'm going to just open up resources, so we have My Knowledge Base. If we click on My Knowledge Base, there are access to software downloads from here, manuals, and again, it loads, and you can search by the different document type. You can search, we could say that we just want to see, let's say, download software, and enter, and it will just show me the software that's downloadable. And it has all of the different systems that you have access to. So they have 9100, SL 1100, any available that you have. We also have access to My Parts List. Under Parts List, you can search for a part number, and these are anything that you have registered that you have access to. So it's just loading here. And you can search by either the legacy part number or the current part number. So if we go to legacy part number, say the system resource license. So I'm going to just put in the original, what we used to have as the part number 640073. It brings it up. It shows you the description. It shows you the new part number. It also shows you the MSRP and whether or not the part is current. If you clear your list of what you just searched for, you can also search by the new part number. So if I just search by that part number, again, it brings me up to the same thing. It shows me the resource license. You can download the parts list from here. It's kind of a large parts list to do it that way, but you can do it. Again, if you hit clear, it then clears what you searched, and it shows you the lists of things. A very long list of going through page by page is probably not the best plan, but you can go and search by the description and the legacy part number, the new part number there also. Also under resources, the sales toolkit. And in the sales toolkit, you choose the system that you want to look at. So I'm going to choose 9100 family. It takes a second to load. And then you can choose within the 9100 what you want to see. So we could say we want to go to the general tools and info. If you wanted to search by, we'll say the user guides, we're just going to click on user guides. And it'll show you the different user guides that we have available for 9100. So it shows you, and you again can search by what you're actually looking for a user guide. So that's, I'll just actually type in ET400. It kept the search in there. Okay. That didn't work very well, so I'm going to clear that actually. But anyway, you can search the different pages for the user guides and things like that in the sales toolkit. If you wanted to just go back, just click the back button. It'll bring you back into the original page where you can choose to look at this. Actually, I just realized why it didn't show me the user guide for that. Let me just go back to sales toolkit. I went into general sales and info, so I just want to go into 9100 family. And you can actually choose NEC terminals. I went into general tools and info. I wasn't. So if we go to NEC terminal, we'll have the user guides for the terminals listed in here. So you choose user guides there. and it's going to have the different user guides. There we go. There's the DT800, DT400 user guide. You also have access to the technician library from resources, and all of these accesses that you see here are going to be dependent on how you are set up in the portal. So what roles you have within the portal. So if you just have basic roles, you're not going to see probably my company or my programs under quick links. You're not going to have the things that I'll show you under quick links, but it depends on how you have it set up. So under technician library, again, you're going to choose the system or the information that you want to see. So if I go to 9100 family, it's going to give me what looks like what we did in the sales toolkit as well. So if we go, say, we'll go to in control, and these will be the technical. So it has the release notes, it has the product manuals, it has engineering articles on it. So if we, for example, go to product manuals for in control, it is going to give us whatever we have for those. So we have the in control call reporting manual. So that's downloadable from this website as well, from the portal. Under support, there is access to the web demos, and there's access to the training center. So if we click on training center, it's going to bring you to your NTAC access, and it actually doesn't bring me in as them, it brings me in as me, but it has access to the NEC training center. It'll bring you right there from there. Under customers, it's going to depend on what you have listed in the LMS and in the portal. So it's going to show you your different customers. You can search by the customer name or the ID if you know that, their address. That's all available. Under My Company, if you have contracts or legal agreements, you're going to see these. I'm not going to click on them because I don't want to bring up someone else's information, but it shows you information there as far as your legal agreements and contracts. Under order info, you're not really going to have a lot of information listed under order info because you purchased from Optus. So you won't see orders, but you can under order info. It'll still give you access to it because you can go to My Returns. If you have a repair that you need to process, you can actually either contact Optus or you can actually go into the RMA request form from here, and you're going to need a bunch of information before you do this, and you can request to get an MRA number set up to be able to send it for repair. So you'll choose the type is going to be if it's a repair, return. If it's a repair, you're going to click yes. If it's unopened, that would be obviously for an advanced replacement. So I'm going to say that no, it is not unopened. You put in the customer name, the account number, contact, phone. Like I said, it's a bunch of information that you need, the original PO number. And once you fill in all of this, and you'll scroll down to the bottom, you add the stock number and the serial number and the quantity, and you can add rows to this. So you can do more than one part. And then you would submit request, and it would process through customer service to get you an MRA number for that. Next down is My Programs. If you have access to this, again, I'm not going to click on it because it will give you information for the company, but if you have access to certain programs, that's going to be listed under My Programs. Community, there are some information on some forums. So if we click on forums within here, it's going to give you, there's either technical forums, there's user forums, and some of these could be a little bit older, but I'll just click on tech, and then you choose the system, and it has some different, from 3 months ago, from a couple of years ago, but it gives you some information, some forums within the dealer community. Under quick links, there are a bunch of different accesses here that you may not actually have access to, but depending on how you're set up. There is a channel marketing FinFee access. Licensing is the main one that you're going to, if you are set up as an LMS admin to be able to administer the licenses for your company, you're going to have access to licensing under quick links. And when you click on it, it brings me in as me. But when you click on it, it'll bring you into your LMS access. My access right now is different than what you will see, but you'll see where you have your licenses available that you can attach, the customers that you want to be able to attach them to. It'll all be listed under there. So we're going to actually go back. You also have access to, well, again, depending on your access in here, you'll have some other accesses like NEC Financial. That might be for leasing and things like that if you have leasing. And those are the basics of the portal. And again, this is where you're going to come for basically anything related to quoting, anything related to MRAs. The sales toolkit is extremely helpful. The tech information, if you're set up to have the tech information, the training center, all of that is from here, and this is where you're going to come to get into Studio as well. And you just, again, click on My Studio Quotes, and it'll bring you right into Studio. And those actually are the basics of the Anytime portal. Are there questions? Is there anything else that anybody needs to see? Oh, that was fairly quick.
Let me check the questions and the chat feature. And let me see if we've had any questions come in. Okay. So someone asked, how do I access the Help Center, or who do I contact if I have an issue on the portal?
Okay. So if you scroll down, when you're in the portal, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there is a place where you can give feedback, but there's also the Help Center. So if you click on Help Center from here, it will bring you into some frequently asked questions. So there may be, and these get added to pretty regularly, so there may be the question has already been answered. So if you want to have, how do you request access to more product documentation, it gives you the information. You're going to email the email address that's in there, how are RMAs handled. So there are some basic questions in there. You can also click on Contact Us from here, and it will open up, there we go. It'll open up some email, it'll give you email addresses, it gives you some phone numbers for different available contacts that we have in here. You can submit a query, so you could submit a question in here as well, and you could click on Submit that. If you're having issues with the access that you have, or you want to change something, and it looks like hold on, I'm in this myself. If you're having any issues on how you're set up, if you need to have other access, if you try to change someone's access and they still aren't seeing everything that you want them to be able to see, you're going to email anytime@necam.com, and they can help you. There are some times when you change the roles for people, so if you are an admin and you come into the control panel, you update the roles. Just changing the roles within the portal, there's some back office things that also have to be done. So it's probably even a good idea once you update the roles for that person to send an email to anytime@necam.com so that they can get that updated for you.
Okay, wonderful. That's great information. So hopefully that answered that question. It sounds like it did. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. So thank you, everyone, for attending. I know this was shorter than scheduled, which is hopefully a good thing for a lot of you. You're able to get back to work. If you have any additional questions after this webinar ends, please feel free to email me at info@optusinc.com. And if I'm not able to answer that question, I can send it to Erin, and Erin gave you some great information of how to contact NEC directly through the Anytime portal and see those frequently asked questions about your account. So until next time, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Erin, for putting on this webinar. We really appreciate it. And like I said, you will receive a recording after this of this webinar, so be looking out for that about an hour after we close this. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.